My cruel friends kicked me out of the business I mostly built over a baseless lie. Months later, they begged me to come back after I started my own successful business. I'm part of this local donation group. Every now and then, I get asked to help out with clothes donations. You know, someone passes away or downsizes, and I'll go in and wash, fold, sort, and deliver the clothes to various free stores. Sometimes, if we hear about someone in the community who's in need, we'll even deliver essentials like winter or kids' clothing directly to their house. It's not like we've got some hidden agenda or anything, no religious, political or ulterior motive. We're just trying to spread a little extra through the community as needed, as discreetly as possible to help out. But man, this particular situation, it just hurts my head, and I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how it escalated the way it did. So, a few days ago, there was this fire in our community that left 3 families without a place to live. We collected what we could in the sizes they needed, and off I went to deliver it all. We never ask for anything in return, you know. Just knowing the families are a little better off is enough for us. We always apologize and explain that while the clothes might not be the styles they're used to, being donated and all, at least they're clean and warm. And if they have any specific needs, we tell them to let a member of the group know, and we'll do what we can. A lot of the stuff we collect actually belong to other families whose kids outgrew them. It's all anonymous, and it's a way for the more well-off folks in our community to help out others who need it. That's one of the things I love most about my community. People don't hesitate to lend a hand when it's needed. So, I get given an address and head out like usual. Pull up, grab the bags and coats, and knock on the door. And after that, man, I don't even know what to think. It started off normal enough. There was a mother and 3 kids, so I explained that there are 3 bags of clothing in the sizes they submitted, along with a box of age-appropriate toys, just like we did for the other families. I thought I must have heard wrong when she said she preferred my coat. I was like, what? She straight up called me rude and told me again, this stuff is okay, but I want the coat you're wearing. Now, when I told her, no, I'm sorry, but I just bought this coat, she got all kinds of angry and accused me of picking through the donation bags for the good stuff. I've never run into this issue before. None of us in the group are well off. I mean, that's why we do what we do, because life is hard here and we believe in sharing what we have as a community. We collect good quality items from those with extra and distribute it freely to those who need it or have specific needs. Sometimes we'll even take things from our own closets if they're needed more elsewhere. Last year, we raised funds to help purchase a wheelchair-accessible vehicle for a family. The year before, it was for a young family whose mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer. This year's cause is to build 4 tiny homes for the homeless in our community to use as needed. Our goal is to provide some stability so they can successfully reintegrate during and after addiction rehab. We all do what we can to try to help out, you know? It's a hard world to feel alone in. Now, my coat. It's expensive, $250, but I've also been saving gift cards for 2 years and anxiously watching for post-season sales before finally taking the plunge and snagging it for 75% off. Maybe I messed up by wearing it on this particular errand? I don't know. But after I said no, this is my coat, for a second time, she just started yelling at me. I didn't know what else to do, so I just left the bags on the doorstep and drove away. And then today, I wake up to a slew of texts from the group asking me to explain why I refused to give the mother any winter coats, and why I left everything at the end of the driveway. Allegedly in a ditch? They're not just asking questions, either. Most of them are straight up accusing me of stuff. Some of the messages are just borderline mean. It's the kind of day where I feel like giving up on this whole making the world a better place thing, you know? I've been where these families are. And people help me, just like this. I know what it feels like to have to rely on others. So I do try to be compassionate and understanding without coming across as condescending or pitying. I don't often talk about what I do because nobody needs to know what came from where, or who is getting what. It's just about paying it forward. I do this because it's been done for me, and it's the right thing to do. It's that simple. But after today, I don't even want to reply to anyone. It's not just that woman. It's the texts that are getting kind of nasty at this point. It's these people obviously talking about me behind my back. It's how quick they were to assume I must have done something wrong. I'm not sure if I want to keep doing this anymore, after all this. I've been part of this group for 5 years and have never had a single complaint before. I feel betrayed by people I thought were my friends. It just all feels gross, dramatic, and depressing now, and that's not how this is supposed to feel. But wait, there's more. As I parked for the meeting, there were a couple of people who stopped to say hi, but most of the board didn't even acknowledge me. And my accuser? Oh, she had a great laugh at my expense. Literally taunted me in front of the others on the way in, saying stuff like, "Ooh, here for more, are you? Guess you didn't get enough of me yet," and then blowing me a kiss. And get this, she showed up with the president. I feel like that's pretty relevant, especially considering she ran home right after. The meeting was supposed to start at 6 p.m. But I wasn't allowed to sit at the table until the issue was brought up, so I sat there, alone, for over 45 minutes. Finally, at 7 p.m., someone peeked outside, to see if I was still there, I guess, and called me in. My accuser wasn't even there. I sat down and the first thing they said to me was, "Well, we may have made a mistake," followed by this big flowery apology that stinks and was gaslit better than a propane stove. You know that when a complaint comes in, we have to investigate it. At that point, I just exploded. I mean, I didn't even talk to my kids like that when they were babies. It was the kind of tone you use when talking to the very simplest of minds. I told them there's a massive difference between investigating and outright accusing, and that I didn't appreciate how their ineptitude at leading a board nearly derailed the whole organization and put a really bad light on what we were doing. And then she says, "By unanimous decision, we've decided not to accept your resignation. Welcome back." I've probably been this confused before, but I don't remember when. I was expecting this to be much harder. I had a whole factual speech ready and everything. But I walked in and it was just, "We OPSI'd." "Oh well, tee-hee." So I said, "Well, that's unfortunate that you refuse to accept it, because it's given and I'm not rescinding it. I'm out. And it seems you all know exactly why. I don't even know how so many people found out. Good old gossip is my guess, but I had over 30 calls and just as many texts and social media messages. So, what happened while I was waiting outside? Apparently, my accuser decided to get on something before the meeting. She literally acted like a wild animal at one point. I'm told it was so bad that the police and child protection services were called by 4 of the 5 ladies present, and when she was told they'd been called, my accuser took off running home. That's a whole other story. The kids are safe now, I'm told. There's that, at least. The versions I'm hearing are surprisingly similar, for once. So I'm going to tell you the events as they were told to me. The president's husband is apparently an addict. Who gets his stash from the sister-in-law? My accuser. I'm not clear on the details, but I'm told blackmail was involved. The usual story goes that she threatened to spill the beans on hubby. You know how it goes. Get hurt, get a prescription, get hooked, then get cheaper street stuff because they're cheaper and no doctor regulates them or questions your dose. There's even a rumor he's been sleeping with the sister-in-law, but that's not confirmed, though it has been going around for the better part of a year now. Maybe I should start listening to more rumors, because I had no idea about any of this. My accuser started off normal, if a bit twitchy. She went to the bathroom and allegedly went sideways not long after she came out. At one point, she was laying on the floor, slithering and grunting like an animal. I wish I could have seen it, but I'm also kind of glad I didn't. When my accuser left, it swayed the remaining 2 votes in my favor. There was a discussion on how to handle me, where the president just said she'll follow the board's vote after they shot down her suggestion that the complaint still be addressed. The way she glared at me when I came in, yes, wearing my coat, tells me she wasn't happy about it, either. The vote was unanimous to keep me. But I did not wish to stay, after all that. Tomorrow, they have an open board meeting to tell people what happened. Transparency is ironically a promise we made to the community, so they know exactly who and what they're supporting. I won't be there. But a lot of angry and confused people will be. I'm glad I'll be missing it, but I have a feeling I'll hear all about it. I'm told there will be some calling for the president's resignation. We shall see, I guess. I started this feeling lower than low. But tonight, I'm surrounded by positivity and I feel good about this decision. Is this karma? It feels like karma. Steps are already being taken to form what we will call the Fringe Farm. We'll collect fresh farm goods donated by local farmers and deliver to homes that need a little extra, focusing on those that live between communities and people new to rural life. Eventually, I hope to offer clothing and household goods too, but I need to find a source outside the community so I'm not taking from the original group. I also have a preliminary board, comprised of 3 of the 5 members of the original board. I've told them they have to finish their term with the group, because they do damn good work, and it's not fair to those who need them to just walk away. Hypocritical? Maybe. But I refuse to torpedo the group. 2 of them still submitted resignations, because they're just floored by that last meeting. Theirs was depending on mine, so their exit meetings are being scheduled for next week. And because they no longer have a secretary to record minutes, I'm being asked to do it. I'm also being asked to submit my name for president, should the current one agree to resign. I haven't decided if I will. I feel like that will come across as petty, and to be honest, it's no longer my business. But wait, there's one more update and it's crazy. The old group has dissolved. Nobody wanted to work with the president anymore after all that. They held an emergency meeting to try to figure out why most of the board submitted their resignations, and it turned into a show of the president accusing the remaining board members of conspiring against her. Which, of course, caused the last remaining board members to also resign over time. Meanwhile, my new board, Fringe Farm, is thriving. We've taken over collection and distribution in our area and 2 others, as we've merged with 2 other small groups to tap into more resources. Imagine my shock and surprise when the original offender called my treasurer and asked to be put on the list. Of course, we did help her, but we took the secretary's minivan and all 7 of us went as a group. And when we got there, it was the former president's husband who answered the door. Our first task was to create an ironclad board policy that states anyone accused of wrongdoing will be spoken to privately by the president and vice president, neither of which are me. I prefer to work behind the scenes, prior to anything else. I'm hearing rumors that the former board president isn't doing well. When the stuff hit the fan, her husband left her for the sister-in-law and they've been methed up ever since. I honestly feel bad for her. They have no kids, and now it's just her. We're having a meeting next week and I believe we're going to invite her onto our board in a non-authority role. After hearing everything that went down afterwards, she's had to get a job and they're currently trying to sell their house amid divorce proceedings. So I guess the rumor about him getting a little more than drinks from the sister-in-law was accurate after all. The rumor mill says the president is in massive debt thanks to her husband's addiction. I don't think she should have to go through it all alone. I also think her situation was causing her an immense amount of stress and that's why everything happened as it did. She knows she messed up. There's no need to rub salt in her wounds.